guys, how you doing? Welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry if my videos are delayed sometimes. I am supposed to post videos every Thursday or Sunday or both days in 1 week. It really depends on the topic or content. I am trying my best to stick with my schedule, but sometimes editing a video can be challenging. I just want to make sure everything's put together properly. So anyhow, as you can tell by the title, today's video I'm going to show you my begonia plants collection and maybe give you some care tips on how to take care of these plants. But as always, this care tips works for me, but it doesn't mean it will work for you too. Just a guideline that maybe you can also apply to your plants that might work. Getting to know your plants is the key. So without further ado, please subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the bell to help my channel grow. I'm on my way to 1K and I really appreciate it, guys, if you subscribe to my channel. Be part of my journey. So yeah, thank you guys. So get your tea ready and let's get into this video. Okay, the first begonia I'm going to show you is quite tall and I don't think it will fit on the screen. So I'm going to insert a clip so you can see it properly. And this was my very first house plant and I have kept it alive until now. So meet my Begonia Lucerna, also well known as Angel's Wings begonia. You can actually see the resemblance. The shape of the leaves looks like an angel's wings, especially when the leaves are close together. It is a type of cane begonia because of their stems. They look like a bamboo or cane and they grow upright. I got this plant maybe medium size and I got it from one of my friends, let's say 13 years ago or so. It's a very old plant and it's still alive, and it was growing slow in our living room right here, hence the low light and probably lacking in humidity as well. In fact, it wasn't doing anything at all until last year when I got into houseplants, especially prayer plants. And then suddenly this plant started kicking off. Then when I moved this into my plant room, it began growing so fast. It's insane. It is receiving a good amount of light from my south-facing window. And as you can see, she is getting tall and already outgrown the bamboo stick. I'm so proud with this old mama. The leaves are used to be thin to touch. Now it's looking healthy. The leaves are big, quite thick, and velvety to touch. The polka dot markings are quite striking and slightly iridescent. I love it. It's so cool. But the only downside of this plant is the bottom part is quite bare, which is not a big deal. And this couple of leaves here are looking unhealthy, but they have been like that for donkeys. So I kind of ignore them and let them do their own thing. Apart from that, this plant is so happy and thriving. It hasn't flowered since I got it, but I am hoping one day it will. When it comes to watering this plant, I make sure the soil is completely dry as this plant is prone to root rot. It's in a plastic pot for no particular reason, as I was looking for a big black pot and I spotted this and I thought this would do for my begonia. I put a lot of cobblestone on top of the soil to help retain the humidity. Plus, I don't like the bottom part as it's completely bare. I'm so tempted to prune this plant and replant it so it's looking more bushy or full. We'll see. Anyway, I considered my Begonia Lucerna as one of my neglected plants. I remember not watering it for 2 months and the plant was still as happy as Larry. I can't believe it. Saying that it is sitting in a plastic pot which retains moisture and it was sitting in a low light condition right here, and it takes a while for the soil to dry. So no matter how much I ignored this plant in the past, it's still alive and thriving. It's so cool. Okay, next, meet my Begonia Rex. I bought this last October and it has been growing so much. I mean really fast. Look at it. So gorgeous, guys. I love this plant so much. One of my precious plants. So gorgeous. Hi! From light pink leaves, it has transformed to pinkish red or completely red even, and has dark veins. And it's quite rough to touch. It feels like cardboard, especially the edges. And the stems are hairy or fuzzy. Really cool. And the leaves are now also massive. They used to be small. Now they are bigger than my hands. I just love this plant so much. I repotted this 3 times as it's growing so fast. It's unreal. And now it has flowers. I was so shocked when I spotted them. They are white and the petals are quite iridescent too. So cool. I did a reels on my Instagram showing off this plant, and you can see the flowers. I was so happy and very pleased. I couldn't be happier. And also, the one thing I love about this plant is the leaves are iridescent. They shimmer when it's exposed to light. It's so magical. This is the reason why I am so into begonia lately. They're magical. The color, the texture has uniqueness of their own. Quite iridescent, isn't they? Look. I don't know guys, but for me, their leaves are just stunning. Love it. This plant so much. As you can see, this plant is massive. You barely see her pot as the leaves are massive and thriving. It is happily sitting in my north-facing windowsill. It is receiving a decent amount of light. The care tips I can give about this plant are based on my experience. Don't let their soil too dry or the leaves will turn crispy. Terracotta or ceramic pot is good for begonias, as most of the begonia are prone to root rot, and this type of pots absorbs water. This is ceramic and my Rex begonia is loving it. Also, this plant is always thirsty compared to my Begonia Lucerna. I water this sometimes twice a week, and I'm not worried if I overwater this plant, as this ceramic does the job for me. It absorbs the extra water like I said, but still be careful when it comes to watering this plant. I actually propagated the leaf that was crispy. I didn't have the courage to throw it, so I cut it off the bad side, dip it in rooting powder, and planted straight into soil. And now here it is. It has now new growth. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I will insert a close-up clip. Isn't it amazing, guys? Just from a leaf. It's so cool. It took a while, but was worth the wait. I will sell this when it has grown a little more. Next, meet my begonia Tiger Paws. I bought this during winter of last year, and it was suffering from a cold snap, and many of the leaves were gone. I did an unboxing compilation featuring this plant. You can check it out if you're interested in seeing it. I will link it in the description bar. Anyway, some of the plant lovers grow this begonia in a terrarium as it needs humidity. However, I am growing this normal and it's perfectly fine. As you can see, it's thriving. Loving my north-facing windowsill. I fell in love with the foliage. It's so unique. I think majority of the begonia leaves shimmer, because this one does too. I really love the neon green spots on their foliage, and the leaves are quite hard to touch and hairy around the edge. And the stems are pretty cool. It has spotty red markings on each stem, but I still don't see the resemblance of the tiger paws at all. Can you tell? I really can see it. But anyway, I find this begonia so easy to take care of. Water it when the soil is completely dry. That's it. I'll just leave it alone. And it took a while to get to this stage. It started producing leaves this spring. I fertilized it. So I'm so happy how this plant transformed into a full plant. I only repotted this once this summer as it was root bound. So yeah, there's nothing much to say about this plant, so let's move on to the next one. Right guys, I don't exactly know the name of this plant. I got it this summer. It says here Begonia Impression Renoir, but I'm not sure if that's a proper name. But I just fell in love with its huge dark foliage, and it has a striking leaves. Oh, it's so gorgeous. As you can see, there's a few foliage that has green coloration. It reminds me of Christmas as it's glistening when it's exposed to light. I really love this plant so much. It's huge. Oh, so pretty. This one is so easy to take care of. Also one of my neglected plants. Water it when it's needed, but don't let it get too dry as the leaves will turn crispy, like the Begonia Rex. And yeah, this plant is always thirsty guys. I just watered this the other day. Now I need to water it again because it's so light. But aside from that, not a passive plant at all. And I haven't repotted it as it's not root bound. But can we appreciate the beauty of this begonia? Oh my god, I love it so much. So gorgeous. So yeah, this plant is happily sitting in my plant room and receiving a light from a south-facing window like my Begonia Lucerna. So here it is. I love it so much. Next is my Begonia Maculata, and oh my god, this plant is just stunning guys. Before I couldn't see the fuss about this plant, why it's so popular, and it's very similar to Begonia Lucerna, and I didn't want to jump onto the bandwagon, so I turned my nose of it, and it was mega expensive back then. However, I went to B&Q recently and I found this plant and it was really cheap. I think it was 8 pounds. So as soon as I saw this, I fell in love with it straight away. The polka dot markings are so striking, and the leaves are slightly big and matte green, and the leaves are so thick and it feels leathery to touch, and I think that makes this plant so special and unique. Such a beautiful plant, and it had flowers when I got it and it's still flowering. So cool. So yeah, such a thirsty plant, which I don't mind. It is also happily sitting in my plant room. Again, nothing much to say about this plant apart from its beauty. I haven't had a single problem with this plant since I got it. And same care treatment like majority of my house plants. Nothing special at all. Look at the foliage. So gorgeous, and it's flowering. Can you see? Mega pretty. Here we go. Okay, last but not the least, I got this begonia from my lovely friend. She knows that I am obsessed with this plant and it was in my wish list for quite a while. In fact, I purchased a cutting from someone on Instagram and I still can't get over it. The cutting was so fragile and unhealthy when I got it, not worth the price at all. I featured this plant in a compilation unboxing video, which I will link in the description bar if you're interested seeing it. But unfortunately, the plant didn't make it. It was 50-50. There was a little hope, but my cat, Pudai, stood on the plant and killed it instantly. Anyway, with my Begonia Amphioxus, I hope I didn't butcher the name. I got it from my friend. She bought a rooted cutting that looks like a full plant. I was in awe when she showed me, as it was the same price as the bud cutting I bought. She sent me a cutting because, like I said, she knows how obsessed I am with this particular begonia, and it is doing very well. I got this last month and it's producing new growth now, and as you can see, I put it in this smaller jar, and anytime soon I will transfer this plant to a taller and wider terrarium as they grow really fast. But isn't it pretty, guys? I love this plant so much. I think the red polka dot markings on their leaves are so striking. Such a stunning plant. It is a rare plant. It depends where you are. And the seller was so generous. You can tell they really take care of their plants. I wish all the plant sellers were like this, not greedy. Anyway, I would say this begonia is not a beginner's plant. It is a sensitive plant and needs a lot of humidity. That's why this plant is inside this jar to create humidity. And I haven't watered this plant since I put it here because the moisture circulates inside the jar. So you really don't have to water it. And sometimes I open the lid to give this plant good air circulation. Just be careful no fungus gnats get into your terrarium. They are attracted to moist soil. So before I close this jar, I always double check just in case because I already caught one. And there's nothing much to do with this plant. Once it's in terrarium, it's a happy plant. I really wanted to show you guys the bigger version of this, but I will leave it here just now because you will meet it next week, so stay tuned. So yeah guys, this is my begonia collection so far. Let me know your thoughts about collecting begonia, because for me a lot of begonia are so unique. The color, the texture, and iridescent leaves are calling me. There's a few more that I would love to buy, but they are hard to find here in the UK. But one day. So anyway, thank you for tuning in, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Happy planting. Bye.